You see it anyway?
You're still behind 6.
Are we
6
ready?
green.
Okay, Mr.
Great.
Chairman.
Concessions right there, bathroom right there.
His name was Joe.
Okay. Park and Recreation Committee meeting for April 14th, 2025 is supposed to begin 4:18 p.m. Okay, calling the meeting to order. Public comment. I don't see anybody from the public here. Just quickly cover up some old business, more or less just an update. Jim, I spoke with Jeff today and he mentioned whether he needed to be here today, and I said, no, not today, but plan on coming next month.
Okay. Yeah, that's
So-
good.
I was just wondering where we are. Are they open now?
Yep,
Is the league started or they're just open?
I believe it has. I mean,
Nobody a league.
they're playing, so. And I imagine he's opening up to start collecting for the new year for dues.
Shouldn't they need to put a new application in? Because
No, we don't know because we don't make Lily put an application in every year for football.
what's the end date on it? Should just be free, or it shouldn't. They shouldn't be, my opinion, governed in forever for those hours. If it's something we had said we'd look at it in a year.
Yeah, I think the problem is we didn't have any meetings, but
We
Yeah,
didn't have many
so
meetings, and we can discuss we can discuss it, the hours today if we want. We get Jeff we get Jeff in here. I mean, he gave us some totals from last year. Seemed like they had a pretty successful year last year, being the first year. I don't, as of right now, they're set to do the same hours. I have no personal issue with the hours, there's two different groups.
I personally would like to see either, excuse me, lose my voice with allergies today, either less hours for them or 2 open courts and hours. I've heard comments from a lot of people that, especially in the heat of the summer, to have 11 to 3, 11 to 4 open. What's the hottest part of the day? 10 to 2. So you're going to put people out there, seniors, whoever, kids, at the hottest part of the day.
Yeah, well, so if we get them to leave 2 open courts, or basically as needed too, we could, they can be playing, and then if people are showing up, I don't know.
But that happened last year, Mark. And they were told, not just the instance.
How many people are we talking though, at the end of the day? That's what I want to know. How many people are coming up?
I don't know.
I know there's a couple random comments, but how many people at the end of the day we actually talk?
yeah, I think that's
I mean, if we're not talking,
quantitatively hard to.
right, I mean, if we're not talking, if there was enough people that had a problem with it, we'd probably read it on Facebook.
I'll say this, if there's, I play there, after like a certain time in the summer, no, it's just too hot. They're not.
Well, that's right. Yeah, you leave.
After 10 o'clock, it's,
Yeah,
the courts
I
are
have-
open, so.
I
Don't say
personally,
if one person's there or one court's being used, then I don't think there's a problem.
Yeah, see,
People just go in and
I-
use the court.
but you have the guys there saying you want to play.
I don't know who's there though. If somebody without an official,
Right, I personally I don't play enough to join the league, and it's not worth, I might play more, but right now, to join the league, it's not worth it for me. It's not worth it for some of my friends who might want to play a couple of times a month. But if we're held to the hottest part of the day, last summer, a friend of mine, she'd say, let's go play pickleball. Oh, it's gonna be 95 degrees today, let's not go. So I think something has to,
let's talk.
Why don't we do this? Instead of them going Monday through Friday, why don't we give them like Monday through Thursday or Tuesday through Friday?
possibly,
Then you've got weekends are free and you have one day during the week. Or they go Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We limit them to 4 days.
because
That
right
gives
now,
people the opportunity to go down there, play pickleball on those days if need be.
because right now, isn't it 7 days a week that they
No.
have?
No,
No,
it's 5.
it's
No,
not.
no, we didn't let them have the 7. It was just the 5. But if that's a concern, so they obviously people have Saturdays and Sundays they can go down. But if we
Okay.
think we need to expand it one more day, we can talk to Jeff, before next meeting. and see if we can cut it back where we free up a weekday.
Right.
Does that
And I
sound
would-
reasonable?
I would look at their application because we have always had, I can't say about recently, but we have always had in the past, Little League would put in it, right? Little League would put in an application, football would put in an application. Girls
Yeah,
softball,
this year we did a field use where we mailed it all out and then they'll basically just, we'll meet with them. They look over the thing and then,
right, and pickleballs.
yeah, that's
They're
pretty
not,
much.
they're not exempt.
And we sent one to them too. Basically, it wasn't really tailored to them, but it was just, give us the, what days you're gonna be more or less with Little League and football was give us your schedules. Girls softball, men's softball, all that. I did do some stuff this year with, just
How's girls
basic
softball?
rules, like everything that was probably automatic anyway. But it wasn't
Right,
okay.
but they,
Like
they
no
should,
alcohol and,
yeah, and it should be spelled out.
there's no way to police it. but-
Do girls have a big group still?
Yeah, I mean, they have, yeah, it's pretty big. It's
Oh,
pretty
is it? Okay, I know at one point they had a
They
little,
dropped down for a couple of years because I questioned that when I met with him, the guy that was running the league at the time, and just wanted to know what was going on with the fees.
yeah.
The drop, and he said drop in enrollment because they had more people interested in doing club softball, so that pulled away from the town a little bit.
Yeah,
So, but
big lacrosse.
yeah, lacrosse into that, but I guess the numbers are coming back, which is good, so. And there's a large amount of girls in the beginning stages of baseball play T-ball and instructional. And at some point, they don't have to switch over to softball, but sometimes you see them trending from baseball to softball, so at least the numbers there, people playing the baseball sport, softball style sport is there.
How many girls you got in the wood?
They've got, last year they had a full team of just girls and other girls. They're doing the same thing in 6 this year, so there's at least 12. You probably have 20 to 25 girls,
Wow,
which in
that's great.
probably between the T-ball and 6 instructional level.
Oh, that's great.
And then you have them scattered out throughout. We had 2 girls that just finished up last year that played all the way through 12-year-old season, so
Oh, that's great.
it's a great,
Yeah, I bet we only had when I was coaching, I was there for many years. We had a handful. It wasn't like we were promoting it, but
Right,
you just want to get enough girls to do it.
Yeah.
But you get 25. That's a
yeah,
great-
no, it's great. And in fact,
Excited.
one of the girls that finished up the 12-year-old last year, she was quite a hitter. Like she could hammer the ball, she could throw hard, and she could hammer the ball.
Oh, that's
From the
good.
bat. So it was fun to see. It was fun to see.
Just to go back on pickleball.
Yeah, we still on
That's up.
pickleball.
Oh, good. So
Nets are up. I believe Campbell's sign has been moved.
up to on the fence. Okay, good.
That was one of the last things I had to discuss before I left.
I didn't want to have.
I did go over there, finally looked at those, the cracks. That's the asphalt. Has nothing to do with paint. The paint is hard. I mean, it's kind of common sense, I mean, the paint doesn't crack. It just, you might see like the old paint where you could see it kind of like, it might have looked like it was
Yeah.
Thinning.
breaking down a little bit, but these are just, with that winter we haven't had frost for a couple of years. It's just different things. So I'm gonna try to do whatever it is I can do to cut, to just keep maintaining them and filling them, but
Can we go back to the?
no,
the
they
paint?
looked at that and didn't want to do it. Dutton and
Or was that,
Jay
that was the
Lawrence
thing
didn't
that
wanna do it.
Didn't want to do what?
They didn't want to seek
Pursue
any
legal
any
action.
legal
Against the people that did it.
recourse on those guys, so.
it's crazy.
How long would it have been?
It was within the first year you started having problems.
Oh, yeah,
And it
it
was
was.
documented, so they could have by all means gone after it, but
I don't know. My guess is only just, I think it was just because it was like that surge bid for the highway where, you kind of just have them come in and lay down the asphalt. They're not hired as a, general contractor.
Professional pickleball.
Yeah, and we're,
How-
lay down the stuff, that's where they got the funding from.
yeah,
How about when the new town manager starts, that we bring it up to him and just say, this is in the past, we have all the documentation,
Who's the new town manager?
just in somebody.
Where's he out of?
He's in Norfolk right now, but I think he's from Whitman.
Not a local person. it's good.
Yeah, National Search.
He seemed good. I met him at the meet and greet for a little bit. I never watched the interviews, but he seems good. But what about if we bring it up to him.
Yeah, that's it. We can make a list of things we can bring up to him. We can get him in the meeting,
Look,
you know,
2 years,
and,
3 years.
Oh, we have all the documentation that
I know, I'd say the longer. you
yeah,
go,
you know, no, it's gonna be, no.
Yeah, it was 2020.
They're not gonna go after it now. It's too late now.
2021.
Now we have to be like, here, we need money to fix this.
Yeah, that's.
We don't really have the
exactly,
money, so.
Exactly.
Basically, I think Jim's just gonna have to manage it and do what he can to,
Yeah, we have to stay
Yeah.
on it. I'll see what I can do as far as like patching the cracks and touching up over them. I mean,
Is there anything you can shoot into them? Don't see, like.
yeah,
sealer?
I saw some stuff that like, it was like dust
Yeah,
and you sweep it in.
Yeah.
And then you spray it with like this water spray bottle and then it hardens. And then you can kind of sand it. And then
maybe that's
I didn't know
what
if I could go over it by hand. I still have the paint. I got like 2 gallons of paint
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
from them and I can just go over them.
Just go over 'em.
Just try to like roll it on, try to feather it in. I don't know. I mean,
Are they that wide?
it's not even like this,
Okay,
but
nice.
there's a few of them. I
The
think it's
spider
just,
cracks, right?
yeah, it's just, you can just see,
By the
you know how those
post.
things are. If you fill them in, you don't stay on them.
right, they need constant maintenance. I got a quick question. This was from Jeff and Gina. This is 2 separate things.
Mhm.
He has signs that they want to hang up down there and they just wanted approval from us.
What did they?
Now, if we adjust the hours, I wouldn't print out of my house, but it's just a matter, it just basically says Bridgewater Pickleball Club membership required Monday through Friday, and the hours, daily
Good.
guest fee, $5, please scan, they have a QR code there so you can scan it. And then they have another sign to where to return the balls. So do we have any issues if what are the issues if they fall in the parameters of the hours that we agree upon? What are the issues with the sign?
Okay, if they put, like I said, I want hours to dress
Right,
together.
right, but I
so
just said
that's
before
correct.
that, right, that hours
Or courts
notwithstanding,
or
Right.
whatever,
right, hours notwithstanding, whatever hours we agree to.
or if we
cut them
agree
back.
to cut down courts, should be just not, like if we say they get 4 courts in those hours. then
Well, that's something we can vote upon because, and that's fine. All right, let's table this for a second.
Yeah,
If we want to go back, we want to talk about,
Where do they want to hang them?
I have no idea. Probably somewhere in plain sight when you first come in.
On the building, maybe?
Yeah.
No, no, he has the
Maybe right by
board
the
up
gate.
there.
Yeah, I'd
But
say
There's
right by
the board that open, he has the key that
the
opens
big
up.
play,
Right, but
Yeah,
sign up board.
for
yeah.
the building,
That's what I would think, but
No, but no, it's on the building. He has
okay,
this,
but
this casing that's, I don't know,
But-
I'd say
but
it's at least 3 to 4 feet. It's a pretty big
I mean, there's
case.
plenty of space to
Put
hang this.
board.
Does
Because-
it matter
yeah,
where
I
it's
don't
on?
think they're worried. I mean,
right,
I'm not worried about what, I mean,
yeah,
like,
jumping to the building. They have this big thing attached to it.
Yeah, you can put,
Did they get our approval for it? Because it's our building,
yeah,
not their building.
Does it matter?
well, no, I
Depending
think
what
we
it,
did.
depending what it.
I get it, but I mean, is it something that really matters?
I think we did approve it. I think we did. It was way back when we first started, I think.
No, if we had valid minutes, we could look.
We have minutes for most of the meetings.
Yeah.
Allison's gone
I
through our
don't-
recordings and taken minutes for
I don't
when we
think-
had meetings.
I don't recall, and I haven't missed any meetings, so I don't recall voting on
Right.
signs.
But
But
I don't
We
think
had
that's
to
really a
approve
major.
for Little League, way back when, to put the signs around, we had to approve for anybody else. It's a town building. So I think if they're, I don't know what this thing looks like that Tom was talking about.
It's very nice.
is it one of those dry eraser boards you're talking about?
No,
Is that
no,
thing?
no, no, it has it's like a plastic door, you open it up, and you put your things in, close it, there's a lock on it. So
Oh,
Yeah, I
anyone
see
can-
something
yeah.
like
He
that.
takes it down, I
City of
think during the
Blueprints.
winter.
They just can't, I think, I
It's
know you
nice,
say
it's very
it's
nice, very
peanuts,
professional.
it doesn't mean anything.
There's no spray paint on it, so it's all good.
Is it setting precedent? Little League wants to put big things up on their shack.
There's no
I
skateboard.
just think we need to approve.
I think we've got, I think there's more important things than things like that.
Yeah.
It's something
Oh,
that's
I
not,
think so too,
it's
but
not aesthetically displeasing. It's something that makes them function properly. Even Little League can do some things. Little League is adding, bins in a couple different spots up there to make field maintenance equipment more accessible to people that don't have keys to all the buildings.
So
I have no
they
problem with that. You know, they're not trash barrels full of stuff. It's something that just at the end of the day doesn't really matter. It's not defacing the property, it's not making it bad. I understand that this town stuff, and we need to approve all this stuff, or at least in the past, that's the way it used to be.
And that was in 5 minutes of the meeting.
Right, and I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying we're at a point in time right now with everything that's going on. There's certain things that matter and certain things that don't. If there's things that are eyesores or dangers, why don't we just after the fact be like, hey, we have to, between, speaking with Jim and Little League, we're gonna start putting trash cans in every dugout.
And that's fine.
And we're gonna change the culture down there where the coaches have to empty the trash every day. Some people might say, did you get permission to put the trash cans there? Well, no,
No,
but we did it because
but that's-
it helps out everything
But
down there.
that's recreation putting them there. It's not Little League
Jim,
putting.
are they gonna be smaller barrels? They're not gonna be 55 gallons.
No, I bought last year, well, no,
Small
twenty twenty-two, I bought, the
22.
Rubbermaid, the red one, they're red, they're 50.
We brought some in, somebody else
35,
donated some
40.
last year too. We brought 4 down last year.
Yeah, they're not real big things.
No, they're,
No,
they're
35,
35 gallon, they're
Good.
just, and they're,
Good.
and these guys have been good when Tough Seed transferred and then this new company took over. That's one of the things we put in the field use thing where, because Little League was kind of the last of the Mohegans where we were picking up their trash. Football does it, men's softball does it, girls softball.
Does or doesn't?
Little League was the only one that we were taking care of their trash, so I said, it was just a lot of extra
No,
work
good.
for when we're trying to do,
I
like
think
aerate
that's
and
fair.
overseeding
That's
and
fair.
I-
irrigation and laying sod and all that stuff, so I said, if you guys could just do that, they've been good, so, I got them the liners, they put the liners in, at the end of the game, they yank them out and throw them in the dumpster, and,
This way to do it, who cares?
yeah, they
Water
didn't mind.
bottles makes the job easier. Good.
All right, so Gina, you would like a couple courts reserved every day for people that don't want to play in the pickleball association.
Yeah.
My recommendation was,
Days, certain days,
One-
whatever,
right,
but just time available. That's
right,
not,
just give them time out. So my point with this
Right.
sign is just so,
it should reflect what
right,
we agree upon.
right. So for the time being, until we meet with him next month, I will tell him he can hang the sign as long as we're all in favor of that, and we can make it official. And then whenever adjustments we make, he has to update the sign. Are we fine with that?
Yeah, I think that's good, right? What if he was to have, that board that they use that you're playing, what if, instead of going crazy with what if just one day a week, whether it's Wednesday or Friday or Thursday, they don't charge, everything runs the same, but if I'm not a member, I haven't paid, I don't have to, I just throw my name on the board and I just play like everybody else.
Maybe Wednesdays play.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Then you've got the weekend
All they
days,
kind of
the
do
days
is
in the middle of the
you just tell them, hey, you're turning a blind eye.
Yep.
Open play.
Yeah,
Open
just
play on Wednesdays.
a blind eye. You're not really saying, hey, you're just kind of ignoring the fact that
Most
some
of the
guy
people
showed up
all
that wasn't a
day-
member.
I'll say,
Because I don't think it's probably that, I don't think
it's not that, yeah.
it might be
everyone-
one person here or there.
Yeah,
Do they need to?
I just see when we play, it's usually,
Because then they don't feel like they're
I know
getting.
when it gets
Yeah.
late, we'll play a couple hours and we're done, and then there's another group that comes in.
Yeah,
But then in summer, it gets so
Yeah,
hot
once it
that,
gets on.
yeah, it just,
that way they don't feel like
even in the
we're taking a
mornings,
day away
it
from
gets
them.
hot.
Yeah, and then if somebody
You don't
like,
play.
Why not take a day?
I just don't see the need for it, because I don't know how
I
many
would
people.
like to give it a
How
try,
many people are actually showing, I mean, it'd be different if we said,
because people
we
know.
had 25
Weekends.
people that you said, hey, every one of these people left their cell phone number, they want to come in and talk to us, they
yeah,
don't think they went down, but we don't really, we're just saying,
Probably weekends.
So we don't know,
There's no
because
date.
Weekends
people,
and nights.
people
I think that's the
know.
only time, mornings.
it's been publicized, those the hours.
we,
You're not
let's keep in mind, let's keep in mind.
show up.
Yeah.
But before we shoot this down, I mean,
Yeah,
And a
we'll
lot
see
of
what
one-
it
people
bucks.
won't show up because they don't know that.
Gina, one of the problems we had before with this, when this first started, was it was the Wild West down there, people from other towns coming, everything, so we needed some kind of structure in there to protect our own townspeople.
And if
That's why we did this.
that and maybe get some cash out of them
Right.
and save it away for.
You know, for the
More
cash.
towns, that will, and the longer, it get- we're open, the more.
More and
other
more towns are put- yeah, West Bridgewater's putting
West
them in.
Bridgewater is down in, Easton's got one in, and everyone's got courts coming in, so it's gonna just keep breaking, getting smaller and smaller.
Now-
Coming,
How, I know you play here early and you go to work. I get,
most of my retirees playing.
I go
What
to
are you
the,
doing, Glenn? You're like the kid down there.
I go to
I
the,
wish I was the
he
case.
goes to play, I go to exercise classes next year at the senior
Oh,
center.
man.
I come out at 10 o'clock. Sometimes there's a lot of people, sometimes there's nobody, or a couple courts. So why can't people at that point go on?
All right,
All right,
I
well,
would-
you know
we're
what?
really beating a dead horse.
I'll send him an
Let's just
email
talk
and we'll
to
come
him.
next meeting.
Mhm.
And then that way we got him here for all these questions. We can hit him with all the
Yeah,
questions.
let's do that, and then we'll come up with a, you know, we'll take
Yeah.
action next week. Okay,
I would.
I get 21 minutes left of this meeting.
Okay,
The
I
first.
need to go to myself.
Do you have to go somewhere? I gotta try calling a cross practice.
Okay.
All right,
Money here, guys, let's go.
CPC 5-year plan. Okay, one thing I've learned is if you want something from CPC, it's probably gonna take 5 years, even if it gets approved, but that's okay.
No, departments have to give us the applications. You can't approve
The
it.
application.
No, I don't.
She sent that away. She sent.
No, they need to readjust, they want, Carlton
And
and
that was,
Gina
the-
said that we have to,
that was the eligibility form.
the eligibility form, they need,
Okay.
to
yeah,
rehab the
yeah.
Lazaro building, we've got to see what it would
But
cost
that's
to
the,
rehab the
that's part of
building.
the process, right? Because it says right under, we highly suggest you fill out the eligibility before
Right.
filling out the application.
Right, and we
Which
said
we
we
did
need,
fill out that eligibility, but now we're not at the point where you're suggesting to fill out the,
right, we didn't, no.
No,
still
we have to wait,
eligibility.
we have to see what it would cost to rehab the building, so I'm waiting on, because that's a totally different, rehabbing the entire building, one is gonna double the cost and
See-
take way longer, so I'm waiting on people to give me prices to come in, because you're gonna have to essentially support the building, redo turn, pull out, get it under
fix the-
there,
put the
put a new
drainage.
slab in, you know, with footings, drop it, so I mean, it goes from $130,000 project to a $250,000
For
project,
half the size.
to get half the size.
Right, and
So you need
buildings
three
are,
months? Is that what these?
No, this is just so they'll take, this
Yeah,
so CPC.
buildings-
will-
buildings are tough with.
Raise it and then
No, that's what we want to do, but CPC says they don't think they're gonna fund CPC, it's not them directly,
Oh,
but their advice was they may not fund it that way, they
Right,
may fund the rehabilitation of
buildings
the
are
building.
tough, buildings
all
are
right, well,
tough.
that's what we do then. What's that?
Buildings.
They
are
make,
tough.
this isn't new, I know it's state guidelines, but the CPC process makes things so difficult. They want you to spend it, but it
doesn't.
does, like, this is simple, we should be raising the building and building a new one, that's simple.
But if the
Blowing it up,
CPC,
putting it-
state has their regulations.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
I'm
state
sure you
regulations,
have Transportation regulations,
Yep.
you have to go by.
Yeah, but.
CPC has
I'm
this
losing
thing.
all those, the federal grants
Okay.
are all left.
alright, CPC 5-year plan, any ideas, anybody? Anybody
down.
have-
No, I think what we're talking right there, hang on, I think going with, doing the building,
Mhm.
I think that's mid.
Or that's-
is
that's
major.
down-
And
that's
what was the
down
other one that you wanted? You had one other thing you really wanted. I know, but I think that's,
You mean,
we have the summer to get people in there, get a plan together.
well,
Fencing
I
was one of the
think
big,
the
big
fencing-
issues.
fencing-
Fencing, big
fencing's
issues, the
huge.
footings are showing,
and I don't
that's
think any,
not
of
good.
that doesn't, a lot of this, I think it would be like a Legion Field 5-year plan as opposed to the CPC. Because I'd like to put, you know, we got the handicap ramp now, I wanna try to see if we can pave from the handicap ramp to the bathrooms.
Yep.
Just 'cause-
Can we put that
I-
together? If we get,
yeah,
put that
Can we
together.
just,
I would also do the we do the building and then we do the, hey, what was the last one you said? You had one other good one,
The backstops.
the backstop. That's it. Put it down. I think that'd be the easier one to pay. I think you guys would do that much quicker.
I gave her all that
Safety.
stuff, I gave them all that stuff in
Did
the,
you get
in the cap.
pricing?
Yeah,
Did you get it from, what's the guy's
in
name?
line,
Inline?
He's put it in, no, he's put it in the
Okay.
capital budget,
it's
but
all
for
in.
CPC.
because I know Allison has a hard time with this because she's mentioned it to me. We have an agenda, we don't follow it. And she's like, well, we do this, there's a discussion here. And all of a sudden it's down here, but then it goes back. We need
I
to
wonder why
follow,
that is.
we need to follow the agenda.
Alright, so
We're
what,
on the 5-year plan.
Yeah, we're
We're
on the
not on
5-year.
Legion Field update.
no, that's not, when, and
The-
that's
No,
my
Why-
it's
fault.
it's not update, it's not update.
Yeah,
With
Right.
CPC, things we wanna
this is just a
That's-
discussion on
but-
whether things are in CPC or not in CPC.
we never got, from
That's
that, from that meeting, we had Zoom meeting we had with the lady, we gave her all the wish list stuff,
Has
And-
any,
and we were supposed to find out what was CPC eligible and what wasn't, and I've seen nothing.
because unless an application is put to us, we have our guidelines.
No,
Has anybody read I've said many times, the CPC 5-year approved plan is on the town website. Has anybody looked at it for recreation?
No, because at that meeting that we were invited to, we were told we would be given email copies of whatever happened at that meeting and tell us what was eligible and what wasn't eligible.
We can't say specifically until somebody said, there could be a million
That was the
projects
point
out
of the
there.
focus group.
No, Gina, what happened was she told, what was her name?
Yeah.
Jen
Goals.
Goldson. She said, Jim, can you send me all your capital needs? And everything that was on that capital needs, she said she would look at and circle and say, this is eligible,
Yes,
this isn't eligible.
yes,
this is
that's
eligible,
that's
this
what I
is
was
eligible."
looking for.
Okay,
That's what I
I'm
haven't
going
seen.
back to her recordings.
Yeah, that's fine, but that's what we were told at the end of the meeting. we were
That was
told
directly to me. She said, just get me what you have. So I said to Allison, I go, they're gonna be moving on that thing, so send her everything. I have a giant eraser board in the cottage where it says everything I wanna do for capital. And I said, take all this stuff here and get the prices and send it to her, and then she's gonna let us know if it's, because that was actually helpful from that meeting where we would know, like,
Hey,
before we.
somebody's not criticizing CPC.
No, I don't think Mark
No, I
is
mean,
either.
it's
He's
just,
just saying.
it's just, it's a process, it's a process.
It's a process, and it's,
Anything's a process.
No, I understand that. I
and
understand
sometimes
that.
the chance, when you're used to owning your own business and working on your own schedules, and then, you get into the meetings and stuff, it's a little different. And
So I think we'll just reword this. All right, it's not a CPC 5-year plan, it's stuff we want to see it, and if we can, it's a 5-year plan, okay, we'll reword that for the next agenda.
maybe for both.
Wait, well, it's a 5-year plan, and then we can pick from there whether it's stuff we can get capital or stuff we can possibly
Yeah.
pursue
So
CPC.
that should be a recreation 5-year plan,
Pretty much recreation, not.
Yes.
just
which is what
CPC.
I've been saying for months, that we need to
Yeah.
have a 5-year plan.
Yes.
Pat
So what are your
Driscoll,
ideas for the 5-year plan?
Well, maybe we could do that.
I've been told by, Pat Driscoll keeps asking me because he's interested, like multifunctional
Mhm.
fields.
Mhm.
Jenny Leonard, he's like, so what's the 5-year plan? I said, we don't have one. And we need to have it. We've never had one. And I think we need to have one. My God.
I don't disagree, but I think we have our plan,
Could you,
and then we come up with, like I said, capital, or then what we can pursue CPC funds from too.
Okay,
with
I-
the 5-year plan, could we do a multi-purpose field? And put turf on it?
And then they won't pay for turf.
Who won't?
CPC won't pay for
if you can
turf.
get funding, you can put turf on yourself, but
No,
No, they won't pay for purchase of turf. It doesn't say they won't pay for the installation of turf, two different things.
yep. What's the cost?
Well, that depends on how big we're going. I mean, we're probably talking, I had some dreams down there of doing some things with some turf and
Why
redoing
is
some of the
it-
fields, and we're talking 2 million all day.
Do one field?
No, to do
Why
a
is it
multi-purpose,
that?
to take where the stone dust fields are, make them one level, and make that all turf.
Yeah,
So that it requires a lot, but it's the best way because you've got various grades and that.
that's a lot of fill too.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is what it is,
Yeah.
and that's what you need to make it happen, but that's the best way to utilize
Yeah.
that space. That way it can be, you could cut them off the retaining walls and make
it's all.
upper stone dust one and lower stone dust and have it step down,
Could you
but
do the football field,
I don't know
and
if
make
it
it
was
a
on, was
multi,
it on?
lacrosse
previous
field,
agenda?
football field?
well,
We're
this,
talking
that's what we're
about
working
Baseball's
on.
the only one that we have a problem. I don't
Multifunctional
know if you could put
fields.
a baseball field in there.
No,
So-
We like having football and it's, that's one of the nicest grass
Oh,
fields
was
around,
that-
the football
Oh,
field.
yeah, so-
Yeah, Jim does a great job, so we're known
In
for
the
having a
meeting
great,
that was
field
on
there.
Okay, all right.
we're doing
The
work and we
multifunctional.
approved, we'll cover it under new business, because I don't want to step on a line, but there's other
Okay.
stuff. Okay, so that's what we're gonna rework for the next agenda, is our 5-year plan for Legion Field and Park and Rec.
Yeah.
And then off of that, we'll decide where we can get funding
Right.
from,
And
okay?
I
All right, yes,
I'd suggest looking at, it's on the town website, it was on the front page, but I think it might have been taken down now. It's under community preservation, 5-year plan, look at parks and recreation. It's not specific, it doesn't say dugouts, but it gives an overall picture of what people do, all the surveys, the focus groups, the surveys, things that they thought should be included. So it's a bunch of pages for that. So I just suggest reading that. I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm just trying to feel like,
Okay,
let's stick to the agenda.
can I just ask you this, okay, you just brought something up. how could we work this, that if we got a capital expenditure, and now you're saying it was $2 million, what was the turf itself, or do they break it down that way?
I don't know, I was basing it on, so we got some numbers from a bit, Quincy or somebody, they redid an entire field and made it turf.
Yeah,
They did new fencing, they put new dugouts in, whole new field, all turf field, and they spent $1 million, it was a full-size baseball field, they spent $1 million on that,
a big time,
a big time.
big time, okay.
So using that math, based on what we have for area there between
Yeah,
the track and, or the access road and the basketball courts where the two stone dust fields are. Making that, so essentially that's, I surmise it's gonna be around $2 million.
yeah, double.
Yeah, just, yeah, and all the work, the fields aren't as big as a regulation size
Yeah.
baseball field, but with all the other work, I think 2 million was a good number to use there.
But, and making it, no, I'm with you, if you could make it a multi-purpose field.
Yeah,
you
that's-
could do a lot of
There'll
things.
be lights on it, you know.
That's what I'm thinking, the football field wouldn't be bad, but you said everyone likes the football field.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Okay, Jenny Leonard Park.
Yep.
Is, we just need the town to make a decision. We
on
need
that
to-
land, that
Yep.
piece of property, and we know that's probably not gonna happen until we get the new town manager.
Right, and we need to.
What we're talking about is
Before
accepting that chunk of land from Field.
Right,
the old
it goes from the parking lot where the mailbox is
Yes,
at,
yep.
that you can walk up.
So we can't do, until they accepts that,
I mean, we
and
can,
we can do stuff, it's still ours, and we can still
right,
see what's CPC eligible up there.
Yeah.
You know, to clean it up and get it where it is, but that's a big, accepting that piece of land is good, because it gives us another access and parking lot. Although we did know that there is a parking lot
And I-
beside there anyway,
I went by and I forgot to look for it,
it is, I drove by it yesterday.
okay.
So there's a road there, so it's just a matter of opening it up and, you know, putting whatever work needs to go in.
Yeah.
So we need to look into that as far
Mhm.
as,
Putting in the park.
what's eligible CPC, but then do we have an idea when the new town manager starts, the start date?
I heard June first, but that was,
Maybe-
when I heard it, it wasn't etched in stone, so.
Is he finishing up in Whitman?
No,
No.
he lives in Whitman,
It's a Norfolk.
so
You
he's
met him?
coming from a town with money to a town with
No one,
less money.
less money.
Okay,
So I think that's something, Gina, when he takes a hold there, then we can try to work him to accept that
right,
piece of
And we
property.
can- we can start thinking too about like a Jenny Lynn. Even if we don't get that parcel.
Right. Yeah, right, it's right, it's still there, we
Do
know
wanna
there's
put
access,
another
we know there's a parking lot
playground,
buried
we
in there,
want-
so we can do what we need to do there,
Yeah.
okay. Submission of annual report, I believe Allison took care of that, right?
That's me. She did hers,
Did you do ours?
but I will. I'm too busy. I'm
Okay.
gonna.
I understand that. All right, Jim,
Send it out so we can all see it.
Legion Field update.
Legion Field, remember in the past, I don't know if this is, I can talk about this or not, but remember we talked about maybe trying to keep the parents and the coaches from driving onto Legion Field.
Yes.
So, we put up a rope, it's the same rope that I put up with that vehicle barrier, it's kind of like I don't know what you want to call that, manila fiber, looks like a bull rope from
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
marine road.
Yeah.
So we put that up, which is pretty much, if you're gonna drive with the concession on your left, it goes across, we're locking it up. And they'll,
Are you putting things on it so people can tell it's there?
yeah, we have a, no vehicles beyond, no authorized vehicles beyond this point, signs or something.
Good,
We'll just hang from it. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Right now, it's just doesn't really look that great. It's the yellow rope with a,
But it works.
Yeah, for now it works, and I'll try to dress it up when I get time, but just to kind of keep people from
good.
going wherever they want, and, we told them, if there's deliveries, because there was some feedback after we did that, and,
But it's all right.
yeah, like, say they have a load of, turfus or whatever they're gonna do for the fields, you take the rope down, we drive them in, we get it unloaded and bring them back out of there and
Yeah.
lock it back up.
But just make sure it's marked, well marked. So
Yeah, it's well
somebody
marked.
gets hurt, some kid on a bike doesn't see it.
Yeah, it's just an extension of extension of the fence, it's already there
Good,
anyway,
good,
so
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
it's not invited throwaway anyway for anything with wheels anyway.
Yeah,
So nothing with wheels is invited to
Good.
go that way anyway, so
Yeah.
I think we're covered there.
So that's good. We've had, the, I don't know, do you call it AU? It's tough, tough.
Yeah,
Club,
Tacoma
club, yeah.
Club. So they pretty much have begun, so that's good. Little League is the 27th.
26th, opening day is the 20th. We start games tonight,
Yeah,
but the official opening
Official
day is the
opening.
26th.
so we're doing
Is
pretty
that the
good.
parade
It's
and
kind of
stuff?
The parade is the 26th, yep. Yep.
cranking, so
We, okay, they, how many teams does Glenn have? Glenn's running an AAU team group?
No,
he
it's
doesn't
not
have anything to
Glenn's
do with
done.
it. It's an
Glenn's done.
outside.
Oh,
an
he's
outside
It's the organization he sold to,
Oh, okay.
Tacoma
Oh,
Baseball.
so he has nothing to do with it?
I believe, I can't remember if it's 10, is it 10 teams I think they have?
They bring it,
Bridgewater kids all
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah,
It's
a
tough.
solid core of
Yeah,
Bridgewater
I'd say-
overall, but
What do you think, 70, 30 maybe?
yeah,
Maybe?
yeah,
Something like that, so.
yeah. So it's,
How we getting paid?
so you're getting paid he's in full agreement, the good
Yeah.
guy that runs it's in full agreement. He didn't care what the price was, he just didn't want any surprises. So Jim met
Yeah,
with
the guy is actually nice. He's a businessman.
What's
He's
his
not a
name?
coach.
Chris Billings.
Billings, yeah, Chris Billings.
Where's the other? No,
He himself lives in,
Does he live in Rhode Island or is he?
no, he's like, I don't wanna say Sherborne up that area, but somewhere up near, closer up to that area,
Okay.
not Dover, Sherborne.
This is
but-
just a good.
somewhere
this
up
is- This is a.
Yeah, so when I met with him, he was nice. He's not a coach. He's not, so basically he was
It's a
just like,
business.
he's like, I
Yeah,
wanna
he
know.
runs a business, that's.
What am I gonna, what are my expenses? And then if there's any issues, he said, let me know. He doesn't like to back into he doesn't like to let things fester. He doesn't like to let things, if there's issues, he wants me to just email him. He's not, not being a jerk. He's just like, let me know. I'll take care of it. I don't like to have things going on and let things build and, have a little problem turn into a big problem. So
Good for
he
you.
was he was a nice guy.
Good,
he was a
really.
nice guy.
No, it's exactly, it seems like the type of partner we want,
Yeah.
it's all for,
I think he already paid us, not all of it, but almost all of it. So,
that's even better.
I think it was like 60 an hour or something like that, wasn't it? It's pretty close to it. I think that's what it was.
Good.
60 an
That's
hour.
really good.
I think they cut their hourly, the amount of time, the slots down just because I think Tufts had 3 hours where he didn't need 3 hours. So, but it's
Are the coaches local guys?
some of them are. I talked to one the other day. I mean, I think he's a assistant coach, but he was out of, I think he was from Easton. But,
There's 5 or 6 anyway that I know of that are local coaches
Oh, good.
in that program,
Good,
so.
good. Okay.
Yeah, no, so it's not an out of town operation whatsoever, it's still an extension of what Glenn started.
yeah, a lot of Bridgewater
So-
kids, maybe even more than 70. It might be like, some might be 70, some might be 80, some. might
There's
be
other clubs now, it's blown up, so there's other clubs, so it just, but that's still a Bridgewater dominant club in the area, I think, so.
Yeah,
But down there, the dugouts, that's come along. We did field cleanup day with Little League. We placed some nets on the backstops.
put up the scoreboards.
Yep,
all that
scoreboards. We rerouted some power down there.
What's up now, the new ones?
We got 2 of the 3 up. One of them's powered now.
Oh,
good.
We got powered in. Plans to have them all up for
Look
opening
good.
day anyway. They
Good.
do look good, yeah.
Did Mike, bring his trucks down?
No, I ended up, and Mark and I, and guy that works with me, Tom, we just kind of put them up ourselves, so it wasn't too bad. It was a little tiny little learning curve, but we got it down now.
Yeah, we got a pretty good system now.
Now we're.
Now we're ready for that last one. We're good to go.
Yeah,
Did you do the big diamond?
we have
Big
the
Diamond's
big
not up yet.
diamond, the big diamond, Oh, you did-
shit,
did you
that
do the big
was
diamond?
Really good.
No,
No.
I didn't get to last
Did
year.
the Barrett's, pay for the?
Barrett's
site?
paid for one. We have another one paid for by Bridgewater Sports Complex.
Oh, good, yeah, we have. it.
That's Hayes. And then the sign company themselves sponsored the third one. So for Little League, it was quite,
Sign design,
no, Fast Signs.
Okay.
Out of Quincy, I believe. It was about $10,000 each unit. So Little League got them donated. And then we, through Park and Rec, we worked with the steel
good.
and got that donated.
Jim,
Jim got the signs
Jim Walsh.
installed. And we've got electrician. We have a Little League has an electrician on staff that's gonna power up a couple of them. We're digging some trenches, doing what we have to. We had an electrician down there moving some power anyway,
nice.
so he powered up Hayes.
Oh,
So we're working. They wanted, the original company we went to for signs for Little League, they wanted, was about $30,000 for signs, but then they wanted like another $15,000 just to install the 3 signs. And that's when I was like, we can save money there. We got the steel donated. Mike and Stefano gave the time, worked with Jim and got those in there, so it's,
who gave the steel? Was it Jim Walsh?
yeah.
Oh, Jim's great.
Did the guy from They
To
came
put a
to
sign up for.
came to the last meeting, Warren, Ricky
Yep.
Warren's brother, can't think of
Yep.
his first name.
Yeah.
He was going to go down and check the electricity on the Lazaro building. Did he do that?
We're gonna have to talk if needed. We got Jim.
Yeah,
knows
I don't
that.
call them because
What's Rick
I
says.
think we're good. The guy from, it was the very next day when Bill came, the electrician from the school had come out and talked to me. And he said, there's no power at this thing. He said, I checked it.
Okay,
And I said, oh, that's good. And I talked to him, told him what we did, and he said, yeah, you should be good.
Yeah, so it all, yeah, that worked out
And
well.
then we're just gonna try to re-extend that line that fed the old scoreboard and bring it to the new scoreboard.
So, yeah, so things we powered up there, but it's looking, from a year ago, I would say it's,
You guys-
it's looking really good now.
That's great stuff, good job.
okay, next, because I know Mark's in a hurry, I have some kind of new business. I'm not sure what Allison meant by CPC project eligibility. My guess is, like I said, I don't know, to me, that's wide open. Multifunctional fields, if that's what she meant by it, it should be old business, because we talked about it before. Any idea where the application is for that?
Yes, we're working for over at middle school.
Yeah.
So looking at doing a multi-purpose field over, multifunctional field over at the middle school. All right, it's been deemed CPC eligible, so we're working on that. I'm working with Frank Judd that we met over there. In
Mhm.
fact, I had a phone call with him today. We're working with Pat Driscoll as well too. We're still waiting on, Silver to get the engineering plan back to us.
Okay, good.
Because once we get that, so I'm putting Frank's gonna spearhead it, just because I don't have the time to do that as well. Frank's gonna spearhead it.
Now, who is it, Frank?
Frank Judd, he's the president of the lacrosse league.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean that we've worked with football on this, we're working with everybody on this.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it's gonna be multi, but that's what lacrosse practices is over there.
Yeah.
We're looking to redo the field over there, get to one level, redo the tennis courts, possibly get some lights if there's enough money there.
You're okay, okay,
the
over
middle.
to the right side of the middle school. Now, is it town or is it Bridgewater Rain?
That's town now.
That's town,
It's town, but it's leased to the school.
okay. And
And
that
it's
would be
been-
the town's responsibility, that end of the field, over to the right,
Right.
where
The
the
school-
tennis courts were.
The school where they're leasing it, they've been mowing it, right? Yeah, they've been mowing it, so as long as they're mowing it, we're not gonna stop.
Yeah, we don't do anything over there.
You know, they'll still maintain it,
The
Well,
school,
would we be- Okay,
because their kids still use it for their sports and they use it for their recess or whatever time. they
right,
spend
the
outside.
school has agreed to let the town, even though they have the lease for all the property, they've agreed to, that the town can put multifunctional fields there.
are they gonna control or some way we gotta.
And that-
agreement
No, we
that
have-
They don't control it.
No, the town will have control of it. We just, during school hours, they still have use of it.
Okay,
You know, so that way, we don't have outside groups coming in the middle of school, that wouldn't work out.
And it has to be,
But there's been no issues there
right,
with
it
the,
has to be a written agreement.
I didn't even know
I
about
want to
this.
say it's chapter 97, something like that, that talks about fields on like school land and like the agreement. It's really spelled out, but it's basically, we talked about it before and everybody's in agreement about it.
Can you bring that up to the next meeting? Can you bring the plans and stuff so we can see it?
that's what we're waiting on. We're waiting
Okay,
on.
Larry's working.
Yeah.
Are you involved in it?
Larry
You're not
Silver,
involved in it?
Larry's on the plan, the engineering plan for it, give us a, rough plan so we can put it out to bid for certain things, but that's what, we're waiting on that and a few other things,
Okay.
Gina, but it is in the process. And like I explained to Frank today, and he's not disappointed, he understands it, that this most likely isn't going to be something we're gonna get done this summer and have it ready for football. This is probably something that's gonna happen in 26.
Right.
But this is what happens and we understand that. And if need be, Jim, like I spoke to him too, whether we relocate, if we have to relocate lacrosse in the spring or football in the fall that particular year, we have fields, between Scotland, out front of the middle school, there's areas to relocate these teams. So, and we'll take care of smoothing that over. with the various organizations.
Okay, who are the organizations who are doing this field? Like, who's doing it? Like, if you're not involved in it and you're part of it, you're the head of the.
We have voted to approve it and support it
Okay,
a couple meetings ago.
Yeah, we're-
but who's involved with it?
It's Frank Judd, he's the president of the lacrosse league.
Okay, that's one.
Yeah.
Pat Driscoll.
Pat Driscoll, CPC's helping us out with it.
Yeah.
Myself.
Yeah.
We've kept football up to speed and they're willing to help out in any way they can.
Yeah.
So, that's where it got the eligibility, approval. So we'll see we'll put the application in and then if CPC has to kick it back to us to make any adjustments, we will. Then Gina, it sits through 2 months of town meetings? 2 town council meetings?
Right.
Yeah,
So,
2 town,
Will that go through the recreation?
no, it's CPC money.
No.
Right, but
will it
it's,
go,
it's-
the recreation's applying for the money.
Yes,
Right.
we'll oversee it.
and
Yeah, so I definitely wanna be, if we're gonna have my name on it, I definitely wanna see more, get more involved.
and
So I
what
see
you
what's
guys,
going on.
what you guys didn't do, but I accepted the eligibility form anyways. I think I had written to you that because even though it's recreation,
It wasn't signed by.
it wasn't signed by the town manager. So the application will need to be signed by her or him,
Yeah,
or
whoever
whoever,
at the time, yeah.
whenever it
Yeah.
comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we accepted it,
Yeah,
but
we're good there. Yeah, absolutely, definitely, we're not, certainly not a pass and input stage.
Yeah.
We just need the initial, we need something from Larry so that we've got something to work.
I know Larry very well,
So-
that's why I'm going like shit.
So,
I wanna see, is he making a preliminary plan on what size, what are
It's-
the
yep.
dimensions?
it's the entire field back there. From the football field down to the street, what's that street that doesn't get?
Crane.
Crane Street.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So you're talking, that's a couple $1 million right there.
No, not really, because it's mostly moving the dirt around. There's some infrastructure, because we want to run for lights.
So there's no
That's-
astroturf.
No,
Oh,
no,
okay, I'm
no.
thinking it's turf field.
No, because they won't, no, CPC won't pay for it.
Yeah.
So,
No, I thought.
yeah, we want to keep this a CPC
No,
project.
but I definitely wanted, yeah,
Mhm.
it'd be a good fit. I remember us talking about like still.
Yep.
the other CPC thing, I know we had the CPC had the eligibility form, and we kicked it back for more information. We've never discussed it in a meeting. It was just, but,
When you
so,
say a meeting, you mean a rec meeting or a CPC meeting?
a rec meeting.
No, we voted on this. A couple years ago to allow it to go forward. Otherwise, we couldn't do it.
We're talking about the
No,
multifunctional fields
Yeah.
now too, so.
Oh,
okay.
multifunctional fields, yes.
Yes.
She's
But I'm talking the Lazaro
The
building,
Lazaro building.
that was never voted in a meeting.
No, none of us voted. The building, we got overruled. Doesn't matter what we voted. The building inspector said it had to come down.
But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the CPC application.
Oh, yeah, no, we
You
had.
guys,
Okay, so
But we know-
I propose, I know there's only 3 of us here, but I propose with Jim need a new building there, that we see if we can get CPC funds to build a new building. And I got a rough cost for it, just an idea of what, bigger than what we have there now. But I think CPC will only potentially give us the same money for the same size building that's there. We have to get the eligibility form worked out, and there were some things we wanted to see.
I
You got
think
prices on that too? Are you working
because-
on that?
Parks and Rec has never officially voted for that project. We need to vote on that, to
Would-
pursue the,
Somebody like to make a motion
I
to,
make a motion that we pursue to build a maintenance facility.
Lazaro building.
Replacement of the
Lazaro shed.
the Lazaro shed.
Do we have a second on that? All in favor?
I, okay, we just needed it official.
So that was, the motion was Tom. Gina with the second.
Mhm.
We passed 3-0, so we're looking to pursue CPC funds to come up with some sort of replacement building for Lazaro building that the building inspector says.
And we
It's
submit
basically
their
beyond.
eligibility.
So we're working on the eligibility form there to get to CPC.
Restore.
Restore or replace,
Or renovate or.
whatever.
They just changed their definitions for rehabilitate and restore and
That's the new,
Okay, so one thing I had in the middle, that was to explain to you the multi-purpose field over there, I said we get to.
Yeah,
That was what Gina was talking about.
okay.
Another item, so just so you guys know and you're aware, because, and it doesn't, I know I go in a lot of different directions and I go fast and sometimes my patience isn't always there, but everything that we've done down at Legion Field with the dugouts, the stairs, anything else that's going on down there, I never, I mentioned the park and rec commissioners, and that's you guys, okay? I'm not doing any of this for the glory, but just so you guys know, I make it aware to Little League and everybody else that this is a park and rec thing that we're all in support of. That being said, opening day, because Little League is going to thank everybody involved with the signs, the stairs, everything else. The park and rec commissioners are all invited to opening day, to, get recognition and whatnot. We're gonna thank all the donors, the people, from Jim giving us the steel, John Hart helping facilitate it, the work that Mike Flaherty and Stefano D'Amelia did, along with Jim, to get the steel installed, to get it in the ground, get the concrete there.
It's big.
Jim's crew getting the signs installed,
Yep.
things like that. So
Yeah, I'll be,
there'll be a long list of people that we will be crediting with this, but you guys are certainly
I'll
included.
just have like a 15-hour day that day. At the polls at 6 and probably leave at 6 a.m. and leave at like 9:30.
It's a good day. Go to the
Yeah.
polls.
Um,
Okay, so that's the date anyway. I can't remember the time. I'll let you guys know the exact time for that, but it is April 26th. I'll shoot out a text as to what time it is. So in case you guys choose to stop by, you can.
okay, I think my thought, we don't have a golf report. And I guess they've been golfing. Yeah, because I've seen them up there golfing. I haven't golfed. Next meeting, golf report. And I think also,
who's getting that? I'm not getting that thing. I just tell you, I don't work there anymore.
I know,
don't have any,
who would we get?
the town, what?
Town manager has to,
I think they'd be more than happy to give you a report if you, call them up and ask for a
Yeah,
report.
Chris,
But I think
do
too,
they feel like they don't have to tell anyone?
I
that,
think they were pretty much told that.
I think they were told that for the previous
they were
management
meeting-
that's,
Their bosses were the ones that were meeting with
but that's not what the town
my
says.
bosses.
That's not,
Well, we might have to take, that one might be a new one.
But again, this person-
well, I think that's the approach we have to take with the new town manager to see if he
Yeah.
wants to honor what the town charter says, or is it still everything that the
the
town
town
charter
charter
says?
still says we have a golf
I
commission.
understand that. The town charter gives us, all the input and everything has to be run through us. Clearly, that was bypassed over the last few years. So it depends on what the new town manager decides to do with it. If he wants to uphold the town charter and respectfully get our opinion for those matters, or if he's just gonna bypass like everybody else. Hopefully, he follows the town charter and does that. That's really the only chance we have, because if he chooses not to, then we're in the same boat. We might as well stop talking about it because we have no say in it. Which is sad, because it certainly falls in, and given the history of everything,
Yeah.
we deserve to, but it's his decision to make, ultimately, whether he's gonna include us or not.
But I think too, we have every right, and I've been told this by Mr. Dutton before many times. And I know as far as golf reports, Chris said he doesn't have to go, that he was told he doesn't have to come and give us reports, or at least come. I was told by the town manager that was never said, and Chris should come anytime we.
I get that, but I understand that, but anything that was told, or any of the stuff that went on with the old town manager, that's null and
Right.
void
It's
now.
gonna-
And
So it doesn't,
Right, I understand that, but I think we should pursue, and I'll be the one to pursue it, I don't care, that we should have Troon or whatever the heck their name is in here to say, and they should be meeting with us, even if it's quarterly, even if they don't live in the area.
well, even
It's
if,
this
if we
thing
just.
called Zoom.
Even if we just get the reports, because I think some of the answers that people are seeking, whether it's town people or commission people, some of the answers they're seeking, and I don't know these people truing from a hole in the wall, but those answers, the things we want isn't so much stuff they're gonna give us. Like, we could say, why weren't we consulted for a contract? They don't care. It's the town manager's office that made that decision. And that's, and I understand and totally respect everything you guys have done for that. I totally do, but, you know, ultimately, they're not gonna give us those answers.
See, you know, we used to we ran the golf, you know, for the kids, we did that for years. And we ran
They even took out the
we also
track.
ran the men's, the golf league. And now everything's like sort of disappeared. And, you know, I know Chucky's doing something with, you know, with his dad, but I'd like to see if we could do something back. And do, you know, maybe work in course, you know,
And
with
that's what we
Chucky.
talk to Drew.
We'll
Give
work
our
with Chucky
suggestions.
with a youth, help with that youth program, get more Bridgewater people. He's got some funds. He's doing a great job with it. But maybe, you know, it really go great having the Simons, you know, Bridgewater Recreation, and Charlie Simons.
Yeah.
Golf league, golf, just to do something together with them, don't you
Yeah.
think? Like,
Yeah, I think they have started that Charlie Simon School of Golf, but it's pretty much just run by
Chuck
Chuck and Troon, I think.
and who?
Troon, pretty much, I think Troon is hired, I think it's the guy, he used to be assistant golf pro at Pine Hills. He's got the simulator kind of like here. in
Yeah,
Tampa.
oh, yeah, but
So I think he's working in conjunction with them, those guys down there, to do something at the course.
So I think, and you guys can disagree, and that's fine, and I'll respect that, but I think, any direction with the golf, getting information reports, that, we have to work with the new town manager and see what direction he wants to take it.
And is the camp done now? Is the Nancy, what she was doing?
Yes, that's done. So that's, you know, that's,
Because I was the only one I'd go to the council meetings, like we said, to be heard. It was to the point they were probably sick of seeing me, because every council meeting, I'd talk about the summer program. I'd question different things. I'd have emails from different ones. But I was the only one talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
No.
and everyone I said, every time I spoke, I said, I'm not speaking for Parks and Rec. However, I think they'd all agree with me. But my.
well, and I think there were some forces in the past administration that was not in support of independent camp or us running a camp. I understand the importance of us running a camp. A lot of townspeople want us to run the
But
camp,
did any,
you know,
did
but
Parks and Rec
they,
give it input?
but they, no, and apparently they don't have to. But one thing that we don't have is a shelter down there for the amount of kids that were in the camp. So, but if we work with CPC or if we get some funds and do the kind of building we want down there, because part of the building that got priced out was a big pavilion down there too. So then you've got multiple places. You've got
But
snack
again-
shack, gazebo and pavilion, so that if weather were to hit, sunny days were to hit, you have a place for kids to go.
Yep.
So I think with the
I
new,
remember, buildings are tough for CPC.
yep,
There's
that
really
would be
strict guidelines.
That would be a great, that would be a great, you know, usage of that building too, not just for maintenance, but you have another section.
That was,
You could do batting cages in there, you could do a lot.
so I think
I think it's, I like it.
I'm excited to meet the new town manager and see, you know, kind of relationship, you know, our commission can forge with them and hopefully get back on track the way things can be,
Mhm.
you know, and with the last administration, there's things that, you know, we suffered from, you know, funding and whatnot, but there's also times when we needed money, you know,
Yeah, we got
under
some,
the gun,
we got some funds.
Michael gave us money, you know, and that's the dugouts, we still got more dugouts to come. You know, he took care of us when we needed it and we're up against it, so
I,
hopefully we have a good relationship with the new town manager
Yep.
and,
that, two things, I gotta run, you gotta run. For golf, like you said, we have no say. I'd like to know why. I see on Facebook and I can see if Barrett's promoting their catering, their food. But it's like Barrett's Old Scotland Links, which might be their name for up there, but it's like book your tea time. I asked Michael that one time before he left, why is it that? And he said, oh no, they're promoting their business. I said, not when it says, it's them putting a Facebook thing that says book your tea time. When did it become Barrett's Old Scotland? The whole course,
that,
you know, for that.
do we have a,
Yeah,
motion to adjourn?
yeah,
I had-
motion to adjourn.
Motion
No,
to
can I,
adjourn? One more?
I just have one
Yeah.
thing, I promise. Back to CPC and talking about we don't have money for, Parks and Rec doesn't have money. I said it at our last meeting, too many departments, because they're not funded properly by the town, they rely on CPC for things that could be maintenance. We see it, not just here, we see it from other places. It has to be, the town has to adequately fund the departments, Parks and Rec,
Absolutely, absolutely.
because things that could be maintenance, like general maintenance, shouldn't be put through CPC. If something fails because of no maintenance.
No, we understand that. No,
Yeah.
well, that's a CBC question, so, no, I understand what you're saying. All right,
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Tom, we have a second?
Yeah, Gina seconded.
Gina seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion adjourned, 5:18 PM. Thank you very much.
Hey.